Welcome back. It is episode 3 with Dakota and Sal at the
Hello.
new network. Dakota, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm a little chilly. Didn't realize how cold it was in this house, but I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, good. I have no complaints. I'm warm, but I also had like the oven and everything going today. I was making some banana bread, so
Nice. Is that some wine? Are we drinking
it's,
wine?
it's actually just water in a wine glass to encourage the drink.
Uh, Even better. I love that.
It's the small changes.
Exactly. I'm just gonna put headphones in.
Yes. So today we wanted to talk about being a young person in business. Obviously, super relatable to the both of us. And I think a good message that I was searching for and still do search for at different times in our careers and in building our businesses. So that's our topic for today.
I'm excited to talk about it because it's a way different experience, I think, for a young person in business than it is. I'm not going to use the word old, but like someone who's been in the
Like,
business for a while.
yes, and I think it's different too if you're say that you don't have your own business, like you're an employee and then you go to start your own business later on in life, that's different too than just like we're starting and we're young. It's kind of like we're really starting with like from ground zero,
Exactly. We
ground
don't have
level.
any experience. We don't have any connections. We don't have anything.
Right, right.
Because even
Exactly. Like
someone, sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 go.
Even someone who's, like, been working for their whole life and then suddenly starts their own business, they have still experience, and even if it's a different field, they still kinda,
Yes.
like they have that life experience, and also they have a lot more connections than we do, and
Yeah.
they have a lot more connections that are, like, able to use their services or use their business. Um,
Yes. Right. That's right. Because most of our connections, like buying a house or life insurance or whatever it may be, not a lot of our friends are or connections are at that point yet.
exactly,
They will be, but I guess like our topic isn't all there yet.
and I find it a bit of a struggle to kinda break into that older generation demographic.
Right. Because almost every single one of our interactions and clients are going to be older than us. Like I think I have uh, 4 clients that are my age or younger.
Yeah,
The rest are all older.
I think I've had maybe one client my age looking at houses, but other than that, mostly it's that older generation.
So, like with that for you, how do you feel about like working with older people? We're just gonna call them older. It's fine.
Yeah, we've just accepted it at this point, which I love. I find it a little bit hard to connect
Mm.
with people who are older. I hate saying that word, but I find it hard to connect.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are trying to look for a real estate agent or life
Yes.
insurance or mortgage or whatever financial aid. Um, I would think that I think in my head that they're gonna look for someone who has that experience and who can relate to them a little bit more,
Mm.
and it's kinda scary to me because if I go up to someone who say older than I am and they have that life experience, they might even know a little
Yeah.
bit more than I do about life. So what am I really going to offer them?
Right. Right. And I think that's a big piece is where for me, like imposter syndrome comes in because it's this feeling like, okay, we went through school, we have our credentials. We're not just like gonna call ourselves like we're not making up these titles, we work for these titles and we have the education, but there's that feeling that arises when you're like, oh, I am 23, who am I to say I can help you plan your retirement or I can help you make that huge transaction. Like it's a very personal struggle, I think, that young people in business have.
Yeah, and I'm glad you feel that way because everything you just said, like, nail on the head. That's exactly how I feel. You like the visual aid there?
Like but that's like I think when I started the business, no one talked about that side of it. Like you're your own boss, you make your own schedule. Income is limitless, but it's also not guaranteed, which is another scary part. And that's another layer of going commissioned or starting your own business. I guess there's no guarantee on pay. Is that financial risk that you take? It's either you jump and you chase your dreams, or you stay small and you stay safe and you stick with what's stable. But that's where, for me, it was a turning point in the bank, anyways, is I could have stayed at the bank and definitely made a paycheck every week and known I was going to make. But I jumped because if I didn't go then, I wasn't going to go.
Exactly. For me, with the commission thing, it was really, really scary for me, especially starting out, and especially since I am so new. Because I've
Right.
always had, since I was 15, 16, I've always had a steady paycheck. I've always been working. I know the hours I
Yeah.
need to work. I have that all set out. I know how much money I'm going to get. But now I'm like, Christmas is coming. Um, I don't know what I'm going to have at Christmas, how much money I'm going to have, because
Yes.
I don't know what houses I'm going to sell before then. So it's just like a whole new experience. And I think even starting like a business, um,
Yeah.
you don't know. 'Cause a lot of businesses don't make a profit for like 5 years. It's a little bit different with us because it's not like we're spending super amount of
Right.
money to start our business. But
But there is that, what you said there was good, because there is the long term game, or just, I guess, the long game, is that what it's called?
yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think
I'm,
so.
I'm trying to say, like it's a process. It's not just like you start your own business and you sell 5 houses or you put 3 mortgages in place. It takes time, and I think it takes people seeing you succeed. Like they want to know that you're not a flash in the pan. Like, it's like there's been multiple times in my career that I've been like, I could quit and I could go to the bank, because it gets stressful, right? And then obviously I take a bath and think about it. But
Exactly. I think another thing,
those,
what you said about people
no,
seeing you succeed and such. I think it's also like a self thing. Like you need to believe that you can succeed
yes.
because if you're putting half out there and not going 100%, you're not believing in yourself. No one else is going to believe in you.
Right. It would be like me trying to sell you a product that I don't even want to buy. Like,
Exactly.
people are going to see through that. So for you, and that, like, self belief, do you have anything that you do, or anything that you like kind of connect to, that you're like, okay, like, even if it's a crappy day, I journal or I go for a walk and I'm like, you can do this, like, or someone that you bounce ideas off of?
To like kind of make myself feel better about what I'm doing,
Yeah,
kind
like
of thing. Is that what
to,
you're asking?
yeah, like to reaffirm that you will rock at this, just doesn't feel that way today.
I, I I've been told forever goal setting is just such a big thing, and I've always for high school and even university, I was like, I know what I want in my head. I'm not writing it down. I'm not writing goals.
Yeah.
Ever since I started goal setting, it's the best thing. I
Yeah.
right behind my laptop right now, I have a thing poster on the wall. I'm not going to show you, but it's just my commission goals. And I sit at this desk, I do my work and I stare at it and I'm like, okay, I need to get that bar up. I color it
Oh,
in when I make a sale and when it goes up, and it is the best part of making a sale because I just love coloring that little thing in, and then the next day I get to sit and watch and say, "Hey, look, that went up today."
that is a very cool thing. Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Okay.
I
So
don't know if that answered
a
your question, but
visual, yeah, yeah, it totally did. And then I think that's like, yeah, so I think when you're in business, a lot of goals are financial. Like, obviously, we want to pay our bills, we want to survive, but we don't want to, like, we want to make that money honestly too. So for you, do you have like there's the financial goal? Do you have any goal, like do you ever want to go out on your
like
own as a
personal
real
or
estate
like
agent,
community.
or yes, yeah, like
So that is
more
like a big, just not financial goals,
yes,
more like success goals that aren't finance. Yes.
yeah,
Um, So I love real estate and I love doing real estate and I want to do real estate for the rest of my life, but that's not like all I want to do. I want to like do so much more. I want to put myself into the world. I want to travel. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to, do everything that I want to do because I hate being stuck here in my tiny apartment and just barely getting by. I think that money is obviously like everyone wants more money, but that's not really
right.
what my life goal is, I guess, per se.
Yes.
It's more just
Yes.
that financial security to do all the things I want to do. Because I can sit here and write down all of the goals I
Yes.
have, all the
Yes.
things I want. Like, I want to travel. I want to, I don't know, maybe open up our own business one day. Like, I would like a bar or something like that. Like, that would be so cool. But right
Yes.
now,
Oh my
that's not
gosh.
really in the cards. But
But one day, if we keep talking about it,
exactly. And like, why not? Why can't we get there?
yeah. Oh, so that's I like that. That's very cool. But I think too, like when I look back before I started, um, like before I left, my why was like fully financial. Like the bank sucked my soul, and I saw a lot of wrong things being done for clients. But I was like, well, if I go this route, it's commissions and it's limitless. So what was interesting though was like through the journey is my why really morphed into being like, why am I doing this? Like, what is my reason to be a financial advisor? Or when, and I still hate that word because I think people think it's really like, eh. But I
Like,
just want
old
to teach people the
fashioned
stuff
thing.
that I learned and that I know. Yes, exactly. That's where I just want to teach people the things, especially younger people, because we have the power to create our future. We're not always given the best tools.
Sometimes it scares me, like, how much we think alike, like, goosebumps, honestly. Everything you just said is just
Ah.
like I'm gonna use the same thing, but nail on the head. Is that the thing? Nail on the head? It is now if it's not, but yes. And I think one thing you said too that I really wanna touch on is when you first started out, finances was your main goal, and I
Yeah,
100% was that's why I went into real estate because I see all these successful real estate agents, like, that show on
right.
Netflix, Selling Sunset, amazing, that's who I wanna be like.
Yes.
But I think that society tells our youth that that's what their goals need to be. Like they need to get out there and make money.
Right. And
But
I think that like going through school, you were told what a good job was based on its pay. And you were also told that success has a price tag attached to it. And I'm learning more and more that, like, I have a client and she made a third of her income this year and she's never been happier. It's not ideal, but it's learning and reforming what success is to you.
exactly. And like money obviously helps with that too, because like a lot of my goals, I need money to start them. That's not
Yes.
all life is. And that's why I love like business and owning our own business because once we get this business going and we're successful and we are, you know, those top agents, those top financial advisors or whatever, we have
Hmm.
all that free time and all that power now that we can go and do what we actually want to live our life doing.
Right. And then like we have the resources and that's where like as we're doing next week, like we're starting now. Like we don't have to be top three in the province to start now. Like we're starting now, and what I want to show, what I want to feel is that even if I were making like I don't know $200,000 a year, it's not to have more money for me. It's to be able to do more and be a leader in how we can live life. Like be a little bit more sustainable, be more loving, be more kind, give back more. The stuff that we need more of in this world.
Goosebumps again. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's giving back, and I'm so excited to get there. But I think also
Yes.
sometimes we focus a little bit too much on getting there and not the journey there. And I know how cliche that sounds.
Preach it.
Yeah. But like you said, we're starting now. Like we don't have the financial security to donate to
Yeah.
charities and do all these big things. But that doesn't mean we can't start now, start doing small things. For example, like our live and
Yeah.
community business type day that we're having this week. Um, we didn't put a lot of money into this. It's more time and effort. We're bringing
Right. Using time and energy to give back. And you're right with the process because it would be like if you and I went on a road trip and we were miserable the whole time and then we got to the beach and then we're supposed to be happy. Like that's not how life works. So it's enjoying even like the dirty and the crappy and the not like glamorous times because there's all those little valleys in between the peaks and that's life too.
Right, and I think being a young person in business, it sometimes gets a little overwhelming with all of those, um, it's the opposite of peak valleys, like valleys,
Oh
you're down a lot. Because I don't know about you, but, like, I get a lot of no's, I get a lot
yeah.
of clients that are like, "Yeah, let's
Yes.
do this." "Oh,
Mm,
wait, no, never mind, gotta go," type thing, and it's a lot of, like, hit after hit
yes.
after hit, and it's
Yeah.
not always enjoyable. It's not enjoyable a lot of the time. That doesn't mean that I'm not
Right.
still building, I'm not still growing, and it's just sometimes I do find myself focusing a little bit too much on those negatives.
Right. Which is fair because if I punched you 10 times in the face, you're going to be like, okay, I don't want to go back for an 11th, but what makes you go back for that 11th? Because that might be the time that the door opens.
Exactly, and I
I would
think
never
that's
punch
why
you in
a
the
lot
face,
of
by the way.
pardon me?
I said I would never punch you in the face, by the way, but it's my
I mean, it could happen. Maybe we can
but
do a big fight one day.
I think that's what it can feel like sometimes is like a personal attack.
Yes. Yes, and I think it's, like, knowing yourself too, because
Yes.
for me, I know I take things personally when I don't
Oh
need
yeah.
to at all, and I try and, like, breathe and, like, think about it. I'm like, "Well, they didn't wanna buy a house because of A, not because of me personally," or whatever the situation is.
Yeah. And I think even if you have that fact, it is still there's an emotional side that you need to have little ways to get out of because even if I know like it wasn't me, it was the timing. I'm gonna be like I still have a gut feeling where it's not fun. So I have little practices where I'm like, okay, like reason, like I have those sayings that are very cliche, but I have a you have to have a faith in them too.
Yeah, you have to have faith in yourself as well, and
Yes.
a
Oh,
really, really good support system
yes.
as well. So important.
Yes. Yes. And if that circle does not cheer for you, do not stay in that circle.
Amen. There
Right?
are
Right.
how many
Like,
people in this world? Like 7 billion. There's gonna be someone who's
yeah.
on your team. And if
Yeah.
you can't find
Yes.
someone, message us.
It's
All of our
us. It's
socials,
us. We're here.
we'll support you. We will do everything that we can. We wanna see people succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where your community is huge. It's everything.
And man, it's so hard right now to be a part of that community with COVID. Talking about hits, like, I feel like COVID is just a
Right.
hit and a hit and a hit and a hit over and over again, and I'm just like, when is it gonna stop?"
Like a little frustrated with it.
Yeah. It's just hard when you can't get
But do
out
you
there.
and like physically or not physically, but yeah, like be in connection with people.
Mhm.
But do you think it's like happening for a reason?
I don't know. I don't maybe. I feel like we are changing as a society and as a world, and I think we're becoming
Mhm.
I don't know, I've reached out to a lot of people that I wouldn't have reached out to if
Yeah.
COVID didn't happen, and I think a lot of people have reached out to me that I think maybe wouldn't have, and I almost feel like I'm a lot closer with my inner circle that I can speak to, and I'm
Yes.
also a lot
Yes.
closer with that outer wide circle that maybe I don't always talk to as much because I'm busy with my everyday life, but now I'm home
Right.
24/7, so I'm constantly texting like, "Hey, what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
How's life?"
It's been that good it's been the good slowdown, but I also think yes, it's frustrating, but and then like part of my thought too is that when our generation are leaders and we're not that far off from it. Like we are the future. And that's where I'm like, I want to build this community to be this place that there are people that want to, I don't know, like just small things. Like we get rid of plastic and we use biodegradable, but then there's also the big things like, I don't know, cures for things that
The ocean.
I just, yes, the ocean, the ocean. And like the problems that we have created as humans on this earth, we are the reverse. I mean, it's not even reverse because we can't go back, but we're the hmm, what would that be called? Like I
Like
want to go
the
back, but I don't want to keep going on the trailblazers. That's what we are.
Yeah, trailblazers. That's good. I like
Trailblazers. Yes.
trailblazers. I also
Yeah.
like trail mix. So
Oh, yeah, I love trail mix.
without
Yes.
raisins. Probably gonna get a lot of hate for that, but I don't like
Really?
raisins.
Oh my gosh. I eat them because I think it's like what I should do. But again, part of the young person in business. It's just it's just what I think I should do.
Exactly.
And
But you don't have to.
I know
It's your life.
jumping right. And I think jumping back to young people in business too, like when we talk about brand, like do you feel that you need to dress a certain way when you're talking to different people or certain people?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes.
I feel like when I'm showing a client a house that's maybe more experienced, a little bit older, like I feel like I need to dress to the nines, like I need a suit and tie. But if I was to show you a house, I'd be wearing a nice shirt and a nice pair of pants, but it's
Yeah.
like a little bit more relaxed. It's a little bit more.
Yes. Now, do you ever feel like you're dressing in a way that's like not true to yourself, like who you are and how you want to be and show up?
I would like to say that I don't own any clothes that aren't true to me, but I know that's
Oh,
probably
I
not
like that.
true. Cause yeah. Um, do you feel that way?
I yeah, I definitely had a few client meetings where I was like wearing outfits that I had had from the bank, and it was just like, oh god, like I did not feel like myself. Like it was, but it was this whole like, and then I can remember going to a client meeting in jeans and a nice shirt, and we'd met, like we had a relationship, and my director at the time met me there because he wanted to go over a strategy with her, and he goes, "Oh, you look casual." I was like, "Oh my god." I was like,
Okay.
"Yeah, well, this is what I wear." Like it's like nice jeans and a nice shirt or a dress, but it was just it's interesting to see like all of like the I don't know if you want to call it like old boys club or the traditional ways that are changing because people are more comfortable with being themselves and expressing themselves and like I wear jeans when it's not just a Friday, which is the craziest thing, but it still happens.
It's so interesting to see that like social that gap between like our generation, that generational gap. That's what I was looking for. Took me a
Yes.
minute, but I got there.
Yes.
Just like for everything, like interacting with people in a different generation is such an interesting experience because we have different values, like such different values.
Yes. And I think like what I took from that the most was it's like my clients, my people that want to work with me aren't going to be worried whether I'm wearing jeans on a Monday or a Friday. It's going to be about the connection and the advice and the feelings and like the energy that we create when we're together.
And do you think like someone from an older generation might see that as you being not lazy, but like you not caring or you not
Mm, I think definitely that there's certain people that would. And then I'm also like, well, if that's your like big concern in life, then I probably don't want to be your advisor. Like that's not who I am. And I don't want you to think I'm someone that I'm not.
exactly?
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that just comes down to like sometimes I start a sentence and I really don't know where I'm going. That's my favorite part.
I love when you do that. But that comes down to like niching or connecting with your like you vibe with your tribe. It's overused, but it's true. So someone that looks at me and is like, oh my God, where are her khakis? I'd be like, you know what? I have a really good advisor and he wears khakis every day. Let me give you his card. Because if that's your wall to stopping this, then no worries. This guy will get through and I'm going to keep wearing my jeans and showing up in a way that you feel comfortable, I feel comfortable.
I think that's kind of like one of our main goals per se is kind of not bridging that gap, but like yeah, kind of bridging that gap and making this kind of like not a
Yeah.
norm, but more acceptable and like sharing our way of business, if that makes sense, and the new way of business,
Yes.
our generation's way
Yes.
of business. Because I don't want to say like, oh,
I
just because you're an older generation, I don't want to work with you.
exactly.
I do want to work with you. I love everyone. I want to talk to you. Um,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be me and I'm not going to do business my way.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I think part of it is educating that like things have changed. And also part of my mind goes is like there are some bigger problems in this world that we should be focusing on not whether you like wore jeans on a Monday or like, like I want it to be the messages that we have. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not gonna wear PJs to a client's house, but
I wouldn't.
can you imagine?
But
Oh
I
my gosh.
mean, with
Like there's
today's technology, you can wear PJs on a Zoom call, so they
it's
can't see
happening
you.
right now.
I'm gonna say I'm wearing PJs right now. I do it on all my Zoom calls unless I have to
Yeah.
head out,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Right. And it doesn't make you any yeah, it doesn't make you any more less professional. You're good. Which is a cool part of COVID has come with these Zoom meetings and it's been right. It's just it's change and it's different, but I understand first impressions are important. You gotta be your most yourself for that
And that's
moment.
not to say we wanna change every single thing. We don't wanna like,
No.
business world works. It's just we do it differently, a little bit differently. We do things differently. We do things more genuine to ourselves, and focus less on this idea of what we should be and more on what we are, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Mhm. Yes, sorry, I did the Z for a couple minutes there, but I'm sure it made sense.
Oh, thank you. You have so much faith in me. I just
I
probably went on a
do.
rant.
I do have faith in you.
I have faith in you too.
And I want that to be oh, where'd he go? There he is. So I was saying, like, I do have faith in you, and I think that for a young person in business, it's super important to, like you said, have faith in yourself and like, yeah, think of yourself like a dandelion or whatever in the middle. I don't know, like a tree. Okay, a tree is easier. And if the big trees around you want to like fall on you, don't do that, or they don't want to see you succeed. Like just have faith in yourself.
Mm,
And if you start to question yourself, have a way to like whatever it be, goals or like self-talk or calling a friend, have a way to just you don't have to shoot out of that low, but just have someone that's going to remind you that it's going to be okay and you are awesome.
exactly. And I think what I would love to see is instead of those tall trees, I love that we're back on a tree metaphor, by the way, back to that forest. I'd love to see instead of those trees not letting you grow, I want to see everyone working together and letting everyone grow. And I think most
Right.
people have that mindset. I just don't see it happening as much as I would like to.
No, the abundance that there is enough for everyone. And I think that is where part of the disconnect is between generations. Like I know with some older advisors, I probably don't my business style. They're like, whoa, she's not door knocking 5 days a week. So she's not really like, should she be in this business? But it's different. So it's just the gap is education.
Exactly.
And that's what we're gonna do. We're
And
gonna fill the gap.
exactly, that's exactly what we're trying to do. It's kind of the main goal, but not in a way that like, oh, we need to teach everyone our way type thing.
No, no.
It's more like teaching you to find your own way.
Yes. Yes. And encouraging you to find your own path and that it's okay and someone has probably felt that way like the way that you're feeling and that's why we want to share the things that we've gone through and that we're going through.
So if you were, let's say, I know that you are still pretty new, but let's say that you were starting a new
Brand
business,
new. Ooh, okay.
brand new. It doesn't even
Okay.
have to be an entrepreneur. Like maybe you were creating a, what's a fun thing to sell? Maybe you were creating
Ooh,
a
like
microphone store.
chicken anklets or something.
Chicken
Microphone store,
anklets,
okay. I like
yes.
that.
No, we're going with chicken anklets
Okay.
because that's much
Okay.
better. And you were
Okay.
just right out of school, 21 years old, starting a chicken anklet business. Are we in
Okay,
the wrong
yes,
profession?
because
Should we switch?
seriously,
Chicken anklet?
chicken anklet, chicken anklet.
How what would you say
Okay.
to that person? What would you say to
Ooh,
yourself if you were that person?
I would ask a few questions like, do you okay, first, why do you want to do this? And for me, I'd be like, well, I love chickens and I love this creation I can make, and I want people to also like feel that love for what I do and see it on their chickens, be like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So I would ask, why do you want to do this? And like, what are your like what do you want to evoke from people? Like, do you want them to feel excited or safe or trusted? Like, just to kind of get those thoughts going. And then I would give the advice that if you believe in yourself and you have that faith in yourself, you're unstoppable. So as long as you keep the fire going inside, you're unstoppable. Now, things that could diminish that fire are people outside, and just be mindful of who's around you. And do they light you up, or do they, what's it called when you put out a fire?
Extinguish.
Extinguish you, right?
Yes.
So take inventory of who's in your life and be aware of how they make you feel. Because if you believe in this business, then you're gonna rock it. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't, because you
You
can't.
s- you started it for a reason. Keep that reason in
Yes.
mind.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. See? Being a
Okay,
young
so
person in
what
business,
about you?
I would say basically everything that you just said, and then I would say also come talk to us.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Is that like me
Smooth.
cheating?
No, that's perfect.
Okay,
That is,
being a young person in business really isn't that hard. Um, there's definitely a lot of hills to climb over, and I think it's important because I see everywhere in the
mhm,
world, our generation is speaking out. They're making changes. There's so many movements out there,
yeah.
and they really are changing the world. But what I don't see a lot of right now is a lot of young people in business changing the way business is done, and that's kind of what I
Right.
would like to step out and do.
Yes, exactly.
So that is the whole point of this podcast and the new network.
Here we are. Yeah. I think we just like figured out our mission.
Our
Episode
mission
3, and
statement.
we've
Yeah, we
already
don't have
got
a
our
mission
like our
statement, but
vision. But I like it. We just now we just have to listen to what you said, because that was perfect.
exactly. All right. I
All right.
think I
I
don't
think
know
that's a
if
wrap
we
for episode 3.
I I think it is too. I think we maybe got a little sidetracked, but I think that's kind of just us being genuine to ourselves.
Yes, exactly. We didn't follow an agenda, but it felt good. Did it feel good for you?
Felt good. It felt really good.
All right.
All right, guys. Follow us on social media. Follow us on YouTube and Apple Music. And I promise I will get us on Spotify soon. It is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I am trying my best. So stay tuned. And we will see you guys next week, next
Yes.
Monday.
And share with us too if you ever feel any, like, share with us the disconnects that you felt with the way that business models are run versus how you want to run yours, because we want to hear that too. We want to hear what you're doing, what you're going through, all that.
And if you have any questions you want to ask us, we don't we're not we're not saying we're the best business experts in the world, but we will definitely talk about it. We'll definitely think about it and we will answer it next week. If you have any questions, you can just
Yeah.
email us. Our email is on all of our social medias, the newnet 2020 at outlook.com, or just direct message us on our social medias.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
guys, have a good week.